When we talk about hypertrophy, we're not talking about some magical process where your muscles just decide to get bigger because you walked into a gym. Hypertrophy is a biological response, a cellular adaptation to repeated meaningful stress. It's not random, and it's definitely not fast unless you truly understand what triggers it. Every time you train, your muscles sense tension, fatigue, and microdamage. They respond by repairing and reinforcing themselves to better handle that same challenge next time. That's muscle growth in a nutshell. But here's where most people go wrong. They confuse doing more with doing what actually matters. You can't just lift weights and expect optimal growth. You have to lift with purpose, with structure, and with intensity that sends the right signal to your body. The muscle isn't counting sets. It's feeling the quality of your effort. Let's break this down to the foundation. Hypertrophy happens primarily because of mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage. Out of these three, mechanical tension is the king. It's the force your muscles experience when they contract under load, especially near their limit. When you do a rep slowly, controlling the weight, and feel that deep stretch and squeeze, you're not just working the muscle, you're creating the kind of tension that tells your body, hey, this tissue needs to get stronger and thicker. Metabolic stress and muscle damage contribute too, but without mechanical tension, they're just noise. Pumping out endless reps with light weights might make your muscles burn, but without enough tension, the signal to grow is weak. Now, here's the science part that people love to skip over, because it doesn't sound fancy. Your body is incredibly efficient. It doesn't want to grow muscle unless it has to. Why? Because muscle is expensive. It costs energy to build, to maintain, and to fuel. So if your training isn't challenging enough, your body won't bother adapting. But when you train close to failure, when your muscles are forced to recruit every available fiber to complete a rep, that's when they start listening. That's when hypertrophy begins. It's about teaching your muscles that the current size and strength aren't enough to survive the challenge you're putting them through. That's the message your body responds to. Now, this doesn't mean you need to train to absolute failure on every set. That's a quick way to burn out or get injured. The goal is proximity to failure, stopping 1 or 2 reps before form breaks down. That's the sweet spot where you've pushed your muscles enough to activate growth without overtaxing your recovery. Each set should feel hard, focused, and deliberate. If you finish a set and feel like you could have done 5 more clean reps, that set didn't count for much in terms of hypertrophy. Quality over quantity always wins here. Another thing most people underestimate is the importance of range of motion. If you're doing partial reps just to move more weight or finish faster, you're shortchanging your gain. Full range of motion creates more tension across the entire muscle, especially in the stretched position, which research shows is incredibly effective for growth. Think of exercises like deep squats, full bench presses, or controlled pull-ups. All of them force the muscle to work harder through its full capacity. That's what drives adaptation. It's not about moving the weight from point A to point B. It's about how much tension the muscle experiences along the way. Now, none of this works without consistency and progression. The science of hypertrophy is built on the principle of repeated exposure. Your body doesn't grow after one tough session. It grows after weeks and months of sending that same signal over and over, slightly increasing the challenge each time. That could mean adding a bit more weight, doing 1 extra rep, or improving your control on each movement. Every small improvement is a message to your body to keep adapting. And here's the beauty of it. If you stay consistent, your body has no choice but to change. But training is only half the equation. You can create the perfect hypertrophy stimulus in the gym, but if you don't support it with recovery, you'll waste that effort. Remember, the muscle doesn't grow while you're lifting. It grows when you're resting and feeding it. That means prioritizing sleep, managing stress, and eating enough protein to rebuild what you've broken down. Think of training as the spark and recovery as the fuel. Without the fuel, the spark goes out. Let's not forget technique and control. People often underestimate how powerful a properly executed rep is compared to a sloppy one. When you rush through sets using momentum or ego to move the weight, you're bypassing the very tension your muscles need. Slowing down the eccentric phase, the lowering portion of a lift, is one of the simplest and most effective ways to increase tension. It creates more time under tension and more microstress, both of which contribute to growth. That's why the best physiques in the world are built on deliberate, precise, and consistent training, not random chaos. Lastly, understand that hypertrophy is a patient game. Fast results happen when you do everything right, not when you try to hack the process. The science is clear: stimulate the muscle with sufficient tension, recover properly, and repeat with progressive overload. That's it. There's no magic supplement, no special exercise, no shortcut that replaces the basics done consistently. When you focus on the right principles, quality effort, smart programming, and recovery, you'll trigger muscle growth faster than 99% of people who just go through the motions. And the best part? Those gains will last because they're built on science, not luck. So when you walk into the gym, remember what you're really doing. You're not just lifting weights. You're communicating with your body at a cellular level, telling it to grow stronger, thicker, and more capable. Every controlled rep is a message. Every challenging set is a signal. And if you send that message clearly, consistently, and intelligently, your muscles will respond exactly the way the science says they should, by growing. When it comes to hypertrophy, you've got to understand something fundamental. Muscles don't grow just because you train hard once in a while. They grow because you balance training stress with recovery over time. That balance between volume, intensity, and recovery is the holy trinity of muscle growth. If you get all three right, your muscles practically have no choice but to grow. If even one of them is off, you'll either stall, burn out, or get injured. Most people think the answer is simply training harder, but that's not true. Training hard is important, yes, but training smart is what turns effort into result. It's about understanding how much work your body can handle and how well it can recover from it. Volume is the total amount of work you do in your training sets. Reps and exercises that actually challenge the muscle. It's like your weekly muscle growth budget. Do too little, and your body won't be pushed to adapt. Do too much, and your body won't recover enough to grow. There's this sweet spot, a range of volume that gives you the best results for the effort you put in. Scientists call it your maximum adaptive volume. And while it's not the same for everyone, the idea stays the same. You need enough challenging sets per muscle group, per week to stimulate growth. Usually somewhere between 10 to 20 quality sets for most trained lifters. But it's not just about the number of sets, it's about the effective sets, the ones done close enough to failure to really count. 5 sloppy, easy sets don't beat 3 focused, hard ones. Quality volume always wins. Now, let's talk about intensity. How close you train to failure. A lot of lifters either underestimate or overestimate this. On one hand, some people never push themselves hard enough to trigger growth. On the other, some go so hard they can't recover. The goal isn't to destroy your muscles in one session. It's to train them hard enough to send a clear signal and then allow them to respond. You should aim to end most of your working sets with about 1 to 3 reps in reserve. That means you could probably squeeze out 1 or 2 more reps if you absolutely had to, but you don't because you're staying technical and smart. That's where the sweet spot is. Enough tension and fatigue to stimulate growth, but not so much that your form breaks or your recovery tanks. That's the kind of intensity that leads to sustainable hypertrophy. Recovery is where the real growth happens. You can't keep pouring water into a bucket that's full of holes. If your sleep is poor, your nutrition is inconsistent, and you're always fatigued, then your recovery is compromised, and your results will be too. The process is simple. Training creates the damage and the stimulus, recovery repairs it and makes you stronger. Without proper recovery, the muscle-building cycle breaks down. Sleep is where most of your recovery hormones, like growth hormone and testosterone, do their work. Missing sleep doesn't just make you tired. It literally robs you of potential muscle growth. Then comes nutrition. Your body needs amino acids from protein to rebuild muscle tissue, and carbohydrates to replenish glycogen and fuel your next training session. You can train perfectly, but if you're not feeding your body what it needs, you're cutting your progress in half. And let's not forget rest days. These are not lazy days. They are where you cash in your training investments. Too many people try to skip rest days, thinking more training equals more growth. But hypertrophy doesn't work that way. More isn't always better. It's about better being better. Rest days allow inflammation to subside, muscle repair to happen, and energy systems to reset. When you return to the gym recovered, you can train harder, lift heavier, and perform better. That's what actually drives muscle gain. So recovery isn't the absence of progress, It's part of progress. If you're truly serious about hypertrophy, you'll respect your rest as much as your workouts. There's also the idea of training fatigue management. Over time, as you train hard week after week, fatigue builds up. That's normal and expected. But if it piles up too much, it starts to mask your progress. You might start feeling weaker, your pumps get worse, motivation dips, or sleep gets disrupted. That's your body saying, hey, I need a break. That's where deloads come in. A deload week where you reduce volume or intensity for a short period lets your body recover completely so you can come back stronger. Think of it like taking a step back to take 3 steps forward. It's a planned pause, not a setback. Now, let's connect all 3, volume, intensity, and recovery, because they're not separate systems. They're one continuous loop. If you increase volume, your recovery demands go up. If you train with higher intensity, you might need less total volume, but more recovery time. It's all about finding that personal equilibrium where you're stimulating muscle growth without exceeding your ability to recover. That's where real hypertrophy happens, right at that edge, where your body is challenged, but not overwhelmed. And as you get more advanced, that edge gets smaller, which is why attention to detail matters more and more. Most lifters make one of 2 mistakes. They either train too little and recover easily but make no progress, or they train too much and never recover enough to grow. The smart lifters live in the middle ground. They train hard enough to make progress, but not so hard that they burn out. They listen to their bodies but also trust the science. They track their volume, they know their limits, and they adjust over time. This is what separates people who grow consistently from those who spin their wheels year after year. Remember this. Hypertrophy isn't about what you can survive. It's about what you can recover from. Every training session is just a piece of a much bigger puzzle. If you treat each one like a test of toughness instead of a calculated stimulus, you'll limit your long-term gains. The lifter who recovers better, sleeps more, eats smarter, and trains within their adaptive range will always outgrow the one who trains recklessly. So the science of hypertrophy isn't just about lifting heavier weights. It's about managing your training stress in a way that your body can adapt to. Train smart, recover hard, and the muscle growth will come faster and more consistently than you ever thought possible. Progressive overload is the backbone of hypertrophy. If you want to grow muscle fast and keep it growing, you need to give your body a reason to change. Your muscles don't care about your intentions. They care about the stress you place on them. The body is incredibly smart. It adapts just enough to handle the challenges you regularly give it, and then it stops there. So if you keep doing the same thing, lifting the same weights, or using the same effort, your muscles stop seeing a reason to adapt. That's why progressive overload isn't optional. It's the engine that drives growth. It means systematically increasing the difficulty of your training so your muscles are constantly forced to respond with more strength, more endurance, and more size. Now, progressive overload doesn't just mean throwing more plates on the bar every week. That's a common misunderstanding. If that were the only form of progression, everyone would be benching 500 pounds in a year. Progressive overload is about doing more over time. But that more can take different forms. You can add a little more weight, do 1 extra rep, improve your form, slow down your tempo, or reduce rest periods. All of these are ways to increase the challenge. The key is consistency. Even small improvements made steadily create a compounding effect over time. Your muscles don't need massive jumps. They need a constant signal that says we're not done adapting yet. One of the smartest ways to apply progressive overload is by tracking your training. Most people think they're progressing just because they feel like they're training hard, but feelings can be deceiving. The data tells the truth. Write down your weights, reps, and sets. Next week, aim to beat at least one of those metrics. There might be 1 more rep, an extra 2.5 kilograms, or just tighter form on the same load. That's real progress. You're teaching your muscles that the current capacity isn't enough anymore. Over months, these tiny improvements add up to big, visible changes. That's how you turn hypertrophy from a vague concept into a measurable process. But here's something important. Progressive overload is not linear forever. In the beginning, it's easy. You add weight every week and see rapid progress. But as you get more advanced, the gains slow down, and each improvement takes more effort. That's not a failure. It's biology. Your muscles are already more adapted. So it takes a bigger or more precise signal to keep growing. This is where intelligent programming comes in. You have to know when to push harder and when to back off. If you keep forcing heavier loads without regard for fatigue or form, you'll hit a wall or get injured. Growth happens in waves, periods of pushing, followed by recovery, followed by more pushing. It's like climbing a staircase, not an endless ramp. Technique is another piece of the overload puzzle. If your form degrades as you add weight, you're not truly overloading the muscle, you're just shifting the work somewhere else. Proper technique ensures the target muscle is actually doing the job. You want to feel the tension exactly where it's supposed to be. If your squats turn into half reps just to move more weight, or your rows become jerky, you're missing the point. The goal is to challenge the muscle fibers, not your ego. In fact, sometimes the best way to overload is to make the same weight feel heavier by improving control and increasing time under tension. Your body doesn't know numbers, it knows effort and stress. Variation also plays a role in keeping overload effective. The body adapts not just to load, but to movement patterns. If you do the same exercise for too long, the growth response diminishes because your body becomes too efficient at it. That's why rotating exercises every few weeks can reignite progress. You're still targeting the same muscle, but from a slightly different angle or range of motion, creating a fresh stimulus. That doesn't mean you change exercises randomly every session. That's chaos. It means strategically introducing variation to keep adaptation going while maintaining structure. The best programs balance consistency and novelty, giving you the best of both worlds. Now, here's something that doesn't get said enough. Progressive overload only works if recovery supports it. You can't continually increase your training stress without also improving your ability to recover from it. Think of training and recovery as two sides of the same coin. Every time you add more load, volume, or intensity, you're also increasing the recovery demand. If you don't eat enough, sleep enough, or manage fatigue, that extra training stress won't translate into growth. It'll just lead to exhaustion. Overload doesn't mean constant suffering. It means controlled progression within your recovery limits. If you're progressing in the gym but feeling chronically run down or losing motivation, your recovery has fallen behind your training. You need to fix that balance to keep progressing sustainably. Another key part of overload is understanding effort regulation. You can't train all out forever. If every week you're going to absolute failure, you're building fatigue faster than you're building muscle. A smarter approach is to wave your intensity. Some weeks you push closer to failure, other weeks you back off slightly to recover and consolidate gains. This wave-like approach ensures that your muscles grow while your nervous system stays fresh enough to keep performing. Think of it as taking 2 steps forward and half a step back, instead of sprinting until you collapse. Over months, you end up miles ahead of the guy who burns out in 6 weeks. What makes progressive overload so powerful is that it's a mindset as much as a method. It teaches you to never settle. You're constantly asking, how can I make this a little harder, a little better, a little more effective? That's how physiques are built. Not by random workouts or motivational hype, but by structured, relentless improvement. You're essentially outsmarting your body. Each time it adapts, you raise the bar again. You create a never-ending cycle of stress, recovery, and adaptation. That's the science of hypertrophy in its purest form. And here's the best part. It's predictable. If you apply progressive overload correctly, your body will respond. It has to. It's how biology works. Muscles are adaptive tissues. They don't have a choice but to grow when consistently challenged. So your job is simple. Make sure the signal never fades. Train with purpose. Track your progress. Recover hard and respect the process. Progressive overload might not sound glamorous, but it's the reason every great physique, every strong athlete, and every serious lifter looks the way they do. It's not luck. It's not genetics. It's progression. The consistent application of science week after week that turns effort into results.